Well, hello everyone. Here to show you that the Cars Tractor Tip coloring right here is like so far as City 14. As you see right here is for number 14 is like so far as what you call is like for the coloring sequels is talking about with the city is you have Lightning McQueen right here as if he would be racing. It's like along with you get the racetrack, and then right here is the bridge that the details I went ahead and added for the background, and I went ahead and added like what you call a stadium right there. But so far for City 14, along with the speed runner, and along right here is the detail that I went ahead and add right here is that for it's like the scene right here that you have with the grass. It's like you have a steep hill. It's like a lot of times if you were to maybe go out and like in the country lands or in the back roads, it is a lot of times you would see is like what you call it's like a real steep hill at about right at some areas. It's like knowing about how I drew it to make it say real steep, but it kind of looks like that see here, go ahead and add a little bit of dark green right here for the details right here for this for the grass. But then we got with the ground, and then of course with the speed runner. And knowing about is like with most of us thinking about with all the activity, it's like you got the markers, and then along with the crayons and about right here. But of course let's go ahead and add some more detail right here for the paint job for Lightning McQueen. And of course with the tires is knowing about that the idea that I came up with is that for City 14 is knowing about it's like the land the land that was there before, and then I guess and then if it was a city or a county that built a new extended the track, or it's like extended the roads and stuff like that, where they it's like I guess it's normal for most states and cities and stuff that they grow. It's like per year it is, if that's what you call it, it's like requirement by, as you say, if it's required by state that that new buildings come in, and then old buildings get demolished or whatever, or that they get renovated. It is. But right here for City 14, and I went ahead and add right here, you got the Cars character. It's like I think Francesco Scali is the name of it, this character. And then that right here is this other car right here is knowing about a lot of times if we were be on a racetrack, it's like be racing, say on a racetrack, that one lane would be used for, would you say, for one set of cars, like kind of like this right here. You got the two lanes for whenever the cars would meet each other, and then of course there would be like what you call two lanes. It is, and 2 lanes of traffic it is. And then you have right here is like if I could no remote control cars or anything, but of course it's like knowing about exactly the movement from how the cars move. It is knowing about that not make it look like anything like a train or nothing. But anyway, but so far as number of counts is about knowing about that if you were to get a license, get your driver's license. Of course, it's like knowing about if you want to get any type of racing. It is knowing about that. That driving is, as we all probably know, that it's not about that who can get there the fastest or whatever, but knowing about it's like the safety drive. But on the other hand too, that and then about the training about how you can handle being behind a wheel of a full-wheel drive, say, so far as automobile vehicle it is. But a lot of times you could probably think about with the whole idea about racing is knowing about that. That the fact about who can get there the fastest wins the prize or anything like that. And a couple of race car games that I played with a lot of times, as you see, like I think like Need for Speed Underground. That would be like a game that I guess that would take place in like a city. And then of course I went ahead and add right here is a mushroom, and a lot of people probably think about this like, really, so what does that have to do with cars? I add that in just it's like knowing about that anything that you would find out in the field or whatever, knowing about that that most say is like poisonous stuff. But on the other hand too, then knowing about that yeah, I got here before, I got here first, so this is my land. This is my land, that's your land, whatever it is. But on the other hand, too, that knowing about is that, another activity I want to talk about, of course, is if you have like a, you say you got the race car right here, but if you had like a, you say, draw like a little mini picture right here. It's like start out with small, and if I could, you see, go ahead and draw like a car right here. It is. Draw a car right here, and if you got like what you call the tail, it's like of the car right here, and you got is the hood, and if it would be, say, racing against another race car, it's like you got right here is with the engine. A lot of times I play those race car games a lot of times, and people will probably think about, depending on the type of engine that you have, and knowing about how fast the car goes. And a lot of times with most drivers would probably think about that, yeah, that if you're going to be in a championship race, it is, and knowing about is like, the type of vehicle that, the car that you have, is knowing about that, yeah, that you're aiming for something that's fast. It's like other than what you call the slow moving wagon vehicles, as say, but other than that, that you have it to where if I were to play a racing game, I would be aiming for what you call is not really the tractor. It's like for the tractor tip, but other than that, and knowing about those type of tractors, it's like you see in the movies, like but other than that, like, and I'm sure that they got their own way to where they can pick up the speed. You say on the racetrack it is, like but other than that, but you had the cars right here, and if I add the detail right here, it's like for the track, is knowing about that, yeah, that really if there's a lane separate between you and the person you're racing or whatever, but other than that, a lot of people are like, looks like don't even look like they're in the right lane, whatever it is. But anyway, you have the car details right here, and then of course you don't really have anything related to, say, a traffic light or anything like that. It's like such as a traffic light. I remember a couple of times of games that they would have it to where that there would be like a bus. There would be a bus that would be coming around the corner. You say so far as not really for City 14, but there would be like a bus that would be coming around the corner, and then all of a sudden make a turn, dart right in front of you. It is, and I think it was called Rush 2, as you say, on the Nintendo 64. It was. But anyway, there would be like a bus that would come out, and I guess, and then make a left turn. It is, and cut. I remember a couple of times it's like you play the game, and then all of a sudden it's like, you bus, you stupid bus. But other than that, you got, it's like with the traffic light is knowing about, whenever you play those racing games, it is that the thing about it's like the vehicles that you normally see, it's like maybe you may see a helicopter in the sky. It is, if you may see a helicopter if you play one of those games. You may see a helicopter flying in the air, and then like with the strobe light, it is. But other than that, go ahead and draw the rest of the details of the helicopter. But anyway, I could maybe add a lot more detail, but then of course knowing about how much time I have. But you got the helicopter right there, and then after that, and then of course after Nintendo 64, I remember was the Xbox, and I remember a couple of times that there would be a few racing games that did, a lot of the game developers would add maybe people walking on the street or anything like that, and knowing about that, like kind of like a Project Gotham Racing, where they would have like different scenes and stuff like if it's taking place in what you say in Tokyo, Japan, or anything like that, other places of China. But other than that you have right here is for City 14, is knowing about that, anywhere in the world that you drive to, is knowing about that, really, if you can understand, speak the language, and knowing about that, that really, no matter if you win or lose a race, knowing about the fact that you had fun. It's like knowing about that, that on the other hand too, that a lot of us will probably think about is to think smart about that whenever you get our licenses, to know that some people may, if they were to get like what you call a Ford Mustang or anything like that, or maybe a Mazda or Pontiac or Firebird, anything like that, and knowing about, take it out on the street, what you would say with your fancy, hot light, or what do you say, and then, cut maybe in front of a few cars, and you'll find a, parking spot right there. It's like, other than that, knowing about if you have, it's like if there were a train come by, or if it could be, it's like what you call speed runner come by, but other than that, you have right here is with the light right here, and along with the cars, it's like traffic. It's like, and how far would you think that will be? Is knowing about, and how fast do you think that they're going? Maybe 40 miles an hour. But other than that, it's like talking about, it's like so far as the car's tractor tip city 14 color.